our shirt on Teespring.
I guess I'm what you'd call a patriot, at least I used to be. Growing up, I believed in the American dream, you know, liberty and justice for all. But lately it feels like we're living in some twisted version of Orwell's 1984. Big Brother is always watching, always listening. It all started with the rise of the Orange Messiah, riding a wave of fear and ignorance. His face was everywhere, inescapable. He claimed to fight crime, but let criminals walk free with a fresh start. The worst offenders seemed to get the warmest welcome. Meanwhile, he targeted anyone who dared to be different. Peaceful protests were met with brutal force, turning our streets into war zones. The more Christian people became, the more hatred they spewed, racism, homophobia, sexism, all in the name of God and country. The hypocrisy was staggering. It's like they forgot what being a true American means. Or maybe they never knew in the first place. The promise of greatness seemed to blind them to the reality around them. The Republican Party showed its true colors, aligning with fascists. And the world? They're laughing at us. I don't blame them. We've become a caricature of our former selves. They preach freedom of speech, but only if you're on their side. Disagree? Well, they've got ways of dealing with that. And the scariest part, most people just look away. It's like our education system failed us, breeding a nation of idiots. Critical thinking, that's for elites and socialists. They're creating a generation of followers, not thinkers. The America I believed in is dying, suffocating under the weight of hypocrisy. Our most iconic symbols of freedom are drowning in a sea of lies and corruption. They don't solve problems, they find scapegoats and attack them. It's always someone else's fault. Immigrants, minorities, the radical left, anyone but themselves. The real enemy is within our own government. I'm losing my respect for this country, my country, the land of the free, more like the land of the willfully ignorant. Home of the brave, try home of the easily frightened. We've become everything we once stood against. Every day I watch as my freedoms are slowly chipped away, all in the name of security and traditional values. But at what cost? Our dignity? Our humanity? It's getting harder to recognize the place I once called home. The flag that once filled me with pride now feels like a symbol of oppression. Every corner, every street tells a story of a nation in decline. I find myself wondering, is this what it felt like in Germany in the 1930s? Are we really so blind that we can't see history repeating itself? The parallels are terrifying, yet we march on, oblivious. Maybe it's time I join the protests abroad, fight for the America I once believed in, because this new United States, it's not my home anymore, but even leaving is becoming harder, as if the country itself is trying to trap us here. The spirit of democracy isn't dead yet. In town halls and community centers across the country, people are still fighting, still debating, still trying to find a way forward. It's messy and it's difficult, but it's democracy in action. Education is our best hope. Not indoctrination, but real education that teaches people how to think, not what to think. In classrooms like this, the future of our democracy is being shaped. The Fourth Estate may be under attack, but there are still those willing to risk everything to tell the truth. These are the watchdogs of democracy, the last line of defense against tyranny. The America I believe in isn't lost, it's just waiting to be reclaimed, rewoven by all of us, thread by thread. The question is, are we up for the challenge?